Hey guys, welcome to a multiple session review of our, my Austria game. It's a huge multiplayer game, but I'm continuing now. I've only covered the first session so far, and I haven't been quite active in the past few weeks, mostly from the new year till now, and that's something I will change. And next couple of days, there will also be more streams and videos about EU. There is a huge new EU4 multiplayer campaign that is coming. After that, we will use that exact save from Europa Universalis to convert it to Victoria 2 save, and then we'll continue playing from that one, which is a very interesting one, but more about that in a separate video. Anyway, right now we are in 1890s and this game, but I'm gonna cover all the 3 sessions before that, since the only covered session is the second one. So this is where we left off. I've just won the war against Russia, I believe, and won Bosnia from Ottoman Empire. Also, there was no Italy at that point. I think the Italian player was playing Sicily. Prussia, as you can see, lost some territories to France, but I already covered this, so we'll move to the second session. This is I believe the ending of the second session. So what happened was Italy formed, which was kind of fortunate for me because it seemed like Italian player wanted to be aggressive towards us. I'm gonna load a save. And the problem was that I agreed to give him Lombardia so he could form Italy, but after that, when I needed the help, he was like, "No, you're fine on your own." And he wanted to expand further into Austria. He realized that I was fighting Russia, and at the same time I had to fight France and Italy, so he had a very good chance of defeating me at that point. Now there was a huge war between Russia and me. Russia decided to declare war for liberation of Hungary. Now at that point I still had a truce with France, I believe, for 2 more years. 1862, it's actually a bit more. In any case, I think this session ended in 50... Actually no, it did end in 1857. I remember this stage of the war. So this is the deal. France could have joined in a few more years, so I had to win this war quickly. Now I didn't have truce with Italy at this point. I think actually, wait. Italy had truce with me, which is strange because I didn't have a truce with them. In any case, I had to win this war quickly before France and Italy could join. Otherwise, I would be losing Hungary, and that's like complete collapse of our empire, and that would mean the end of the Austria. Well, basically end of the campaign for us, because then it would be France against crippled Prussia and crippled Austria that has allies in Russia and Italy, basically completely controlling Europe, and we would be completely dead at that point. Anyway, this war was, despite looking kinda bad for us due to Russia invading our territory, it actually went very well for us because we managed to inflict some very, very heavy losses in every battle we fought against Russians. And even though I retreated, it was more of a tactical retreat to lure Russia into our land, into mountains and forests, so they take attrition. And they really took very heavy attrition. You'll see why. So in the beginning of the war, I think their total manpower was at 225. And right now, I was down to 83 possible brigades. So they had more brigades than they could support already at that point, and I think that was compared to our manpower. So we had basically the same manpower, just that they had more brigades, which is actually the worst case because that means we have better and more artillery, which is terrible for them. Now, in this war, Japan was on our side, so they were slowly invading Russia. And once they would actually reach Moscow and the regions that matter, we would probably win the war. So the only issue was France and Italy joining the war. Italy could have broken the truce, but they chose not to. Anyway, over here in Americas, USA was slowly pushing into Mexico and consolidating their empire. Mexico lost all the stuff they got in the first session. Haiti was still expanding and decided to ally USA instead of being against them. So Gran Colombia and Brazil having a small war. Over here, Japan, well, expanding into Russia, but nothing major there. And that's pretty much it. Africa remained more or less the same. I expand further into Egypt. I tried to make deals with Greek player, but he didn't respond, so I don't know. At that point, I didn't know what would happen. Anyways, moving to the third session. I'm just gonna skip quickly through the save. I'm not even gonna load this one. So we managed to win a war against Russia, release Poland, Lithuania, which is huge, because now at that point we didn't have a proper border with Russia. And then the Franco-Italian War followed soon. France and Italy decided to declare war. Actually, no. I was expecting a war with France and Italy at that point. And they were much stronger. They had more men. They had France had far better attack and stuff. I was only allied to Spain, and I believe, I'm not sure if Germany had a non-aggression pact. No, Germany was at that war. Anyway, it was only crippled Prussia. Like, Germany only had half of their land at that point. So what I did was waited for Italy to defund their army and then just launched the surprise attack on them. Instead of waiting for Italy to attack me, we just attacked them and inflicted some heavy losses in the opening battles of the war. Over here, unfortunately, I still didn't manage to break their front completely, and I wish I had the save from the middle of the war. But anyway, they slowly started turning the war into their favor, but they somehow held the line. Now Prussia reinforced me. I didn't call SGF into the war yet, so France wouldn't get military access through their territory. Spain was also in the war, so France couldn't fully focus on our front because they had to keep few men here. Also, Spain tried to land few more troops in Venice so they would support our war. Unfortunately, Germany, Vincini was subbing for Germany or for Prussia at that point, and we had some slight miscommunication. I ended getting stack wiped in 2 provinces, and well, Prussia was almost completely empty of troops. His troops were completely dead, and he had to retreat all the way back to East Prussia to get reinforcements and resupply. Now, at that point, I thought we were just going to lose war for sure, because Spain had only few troops here. I lost few of my very good regiments. Also, France was at that point heavily investing into this Italian war, so they had all the troops over here, but somehow I managed to hold the front. I not only hold the front, but completely destroy few of the French and Italian stacks, and actually completely turned the war into my favor. At that point, Russia could join Franco-Italian side, but Germany managed to resupply all of their armies, and at that point I just called SGF into the war, and we managed to push into France through here. And once Russia actually joined the war, it was already too late, so we won the war. I won Lombardia, Germany got I think Rhineland and this one little area here. So it was a huge win for us. Also, Germany got pan-nationalist, so Germany formed. I'm not gonna load the save, but as you can see, Italy managed to get more land into Africa. I colonized one little area over here. Spain got Ethiopia. That's more or less it. USA continued expanding into Mexico. Nothing unexpected over here. Argentina actually grew stronger. Meanwhile, I believe there was a war between Japan and UK. Yep, there we go. For release of Korea, I believe. And that war would continue into the next session. Now moving to the present day session, and you'll see the huge changes over here. First of all, USA just completely destroying Mexico. Gran Colombia is very strong. Brazil is dying to Haiti. Argentina is also occupied, but I think they're just dead right now. The player had to leave, so that's quite unfortunate because I think Argentina had a pretty decent campaign over there, even though they had no immigrations, which is quite unfortunate. Now as for Africa, America definitely won the colonization here, closely followed by, I believe, France. But America has the best parts of Africa. Now Italy has some huge land, but that's mostly quite terrible land, so it's not really worth it. We made some deals with Greece about Egypt. Actually, the deal was they gave me all of their Egypt, and I helped them destroy Ottoman Empire. Finally, they managed to form Byzantine Empire, which is quite a great success. Unfortunately, they are not going to be quite a good ally because their tech is abysmal. I'll show you in a moment. I hope I got that is the tag. So they have only 15 research points. Somehow they do have decent military tech. It's 14, which is not terrible, but in 10 years they'll have to get military directionism, and I don't think they will have research points for that. Now he's trying to invest into literacy right now, but it's already quite late, and this mod literacy gain rate is quite terrible, so he's not the luckiest one there. Anyway, what happened in Europe in those few years? Well, Soviet Union formed, which is quite terrible because now I have endless waves of communist struggles, and it's really annoying. I did get a non-aggression pact with Russia, focusing mostly on fighting Italy and France. Now Italy got Albania and Montenegro at some point, which was pissing me off because I wanted to hold all of the Balkans, and they just managed to get those two blobs. But also that was a liability for them because I could have declared war for Albania at that point and just crushed them, which is exactly what I did. Now another war between Italy, France, Austria, and Spain. Germany signed a non-aggression pact with France, which was quite terrible deal in my opinion, because at that point they could have just crushed France completely and then their reign in Europe. At that point it would be mostly Austria and Germany ruling the Europe, competing with the Soviet Union later on, but they chose not to. So we had another war with Italy and France. Eventually we managed to win that war, even though Japan was on their side, but that kind of provoked UK, so UK joined our side and started invading northern France. Now, France could have turned that war, since they started rotating troops to northern France, and UK didn't really have the best tech there. Also, we were losing in all the other parts of the world because Japan was invading everything before UK joined, of course. Which meant, as you can see, Japan already had some UN mission, okay. They had some troops over there in Italy, but they came kinda too late. But once France started pushing troops into northern France, I just piled on Italy and started crushing them. So they had to surrender. We won some land in Africa for Spain, I believe, and also I won Albania. Now Italy, after it released Montenegro, I guess that's just to piss me off. I don't know if I can manage to make some deals with them, but that we'll see. Hope I can just trade this part of Montenegro and then just try to continue growing my industry, because all this entire game I've been fighting France, Italy and Russia at different points in time, and I had to spend so much time encouraging soldiers just because Germany was quite useless. And in exchange, Germany was able to boost their industry, and I was quite pissed when they signed a non-aggression pact with France, because that meant that I would have to fight France on my own for basically German benefit, which is quite terrible. Anyway, that resulted in me having not that great of a tech. As you can see, literacy is decent, but I would like to have it around 90% at this point, which I think it was possible if I fully focused on literacy. Fortunately, that's not the case. As you can see, our industry is only 6th in the world, so that is also terrible. And just to show you how far behind the game leaders we are right now. Let's go here. So Germany 1400 industrial points, France 1000, UK almost 1000, USA and Soviet Union around 900, and then we are with the sixth with 600. So we are quite abysmal industry. Even Italy is catching up to us. So I'd like to avoid any major wars in the upcoming sessions. Just conquer the rest of the Egypt. See if I can make some deals with UK about Sinai, which I doubt that will happen, and then just continue expanding into Romania and Ottoman Empire here. As for the rest of the world, I already kind of covered the New World, covered the Africa also. South Africa's player switched to UK, so I don't expect them to stay alive for much longer. But they might if we get a new South African player. We'll see. Anyway, my goal for the rest of the game is, this is not the exact military power of us right now, because right now I had to switch to pacifist to socialist, and they have pacifism, which means less military power. If I switch to, for example, these guys, the military power will change in a moment. Okay, there we go. So we are 7th in military power. So the only goal is to try to get into first. Realistically, we're gonna end up the game with being in the first 5 in industry, I hope. That's some realistic goal for us if I want to just focus on industry. I think I can overtake UK. We're not going to overtake USA and Soviet Union. They're just gonna grow even more. And then the one country that we might be able to overtake is France. France will start dropping in industry eventually, but I don't know. I would really like to finish the game as one of the top 3 nations industrial wise, but it's quite unlikely unless we expand into Byzantine Empire, which will drop our literacy heavily, and I might consider that, but right now I will just like to have them as an ally right now. Now they're kind of a liability because they have terrible tech, but we'll see. If they manage to pick up and actually improve their country, I'll stick to them as my ally. If not, then I will probably turn against them. I'll see. It also depends on my infamy because it's quite high right now. I managed to get a non-aggression pact with Soviet Union, which is quite good for us. I don't know if that was a proper choice, because maybe we could have fought the Soviets with Germany right now. But you know what? I was quite pissed when they signed a non-aggression pact with France. So if they want to fight Soviets, they will have to do it on their own. I'm not going to support that war. I want to focus on our industry. Anyway, that game continues today, and I'll make announcement for the ongoing EU game and also for the another one that we will convert into Victoria 2. That one will be huge and quite interesting. So, see you tonight. Have fun.